We have made it to the playoffs here in year number 2 of the Golden State Warriors MyNBA franchise here on NBA 2K25. Today we've got games 1 and 2 here the first round against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're going to go through the play-in tournament along with going through our studs and duds of the year, which were voted on by you guys in the last episode. Last time around, we also had another prospect profile, continuing to take a look at this draft class, and we'll take another look at the draft once the playoffs are over, which hopefully won't be too soon. As we take a final look at the standings, the Spurs get the number 1 seed. Dallas, with the MVP Luka, comes in at number 2. Memphis, probably the most improved team in the NBA, gets 3. And then that leads us to this cluster here that we were able to surpass and ultimately land the number 4 seed, avoiding the play-in tournament and getting home court advantage for the first round in this best of 7 against Minnesota, who lands the 5 spot. I had kind of thought throughout the entirety of the last episode that we would be matched up with Denver, but they struggled towards the end of the year, and Minnesota ultimately passed them. Of course, the East was a lot worse than the West. The Raptors would have been maybe the 6th seed in our conference, and throughout most of the year, they were even lower than that. And that doesn't even factor in that they would have had an easier schedule because they only played against Eastern Conference teams primarily. The Heat at 45 wins get the 2 seed. There were only 4 teams above 500, and the 6th seed, Charlotte, is under 500 to begin with. What a disaster the Eastern Conference is. We would have by far gotten the number 1 seed out there. In terms of our numbers on the year, obviously Steph Curry had a great year, and most impressively, he played all 82 games. For the second oldest player in the league, that is awfully impressive. Of course, we spent the rest of the year figuring out how Miles Turner would fit onto this roster, and his offense got better and better as the year went along. Of course, the rookie, Antoine Salish, exceeded expectations, which is a big reason why he not only was a candidate for the stud of the year, but to no major surprise, he ended up winning by a very wide margin. And I figured this would be the case, and it should be the case, because he was absolutely terrific this year. As a rookie for us, he averaged around 14 points per game, and he did it on very up and down efficiency. His shooting splits wavered throughout the year. He wasn't the most consistent, but that's sort of to be expected for a 20-year-old. And the fact that his true shooting percentage was close enough to league average and his estimated wins added was positive, that's really all we can ask for the 22nd pick of the draft. As we look at his stats month by month, and again, very inconsistent. Had some really good stretches like April where he's on fire. 6 consecutive games of at least 20 points. And then there's March where he shot 35% from the field. The highs with him were very high though. 58-10 in the win against Boston, tying Wilt Chamberlain's record for the most points in a game by a rookie and breaking Jamal Crawford's record for most points by a bench player ever. So we saw the flashes with him. I thought his defense and his passing was also a little bit better than expected. And the fact that he was this positive a player for us was certainly a very nice development for this roster. So his rating goes up by 2. His potential will go up by 2. What's the ceiling for a guy like Antoine Salish? I guess technically it's a 95, albeit his max potential is very low. But still, what type of player is his ceiling? Because we know he's a great scorer, but the rest of this game, of course, could use some work. Adembona ends up getting the 2nd spot. He had a strong season for us. Big piece of the rotation, and he ended up being quite valuable for us off the bench. Good enough offensively, somewhat efficient scorer, good defensively. A 3.3 estimated wins added was equal to that of Trace Jackson-Davis, whose rating is quite a bit higher and obviously played a bigger role on this team. So that speaks to the year that Adembona had, and his rating and potential will go up by 1. I will say, though, looking back at it, a guy who I had wished that maybe I had put on the stud of the year list is actually Jimmy Butler, because he regressed quite a bit in terms of rating in the last offseason, but his play didn't really get worse. So I think that's going to be something I watch out for in the future. Older players who regress in terms of overall, but their production remains the same. Caleb Martin is the dud of the year, not a major surprise. Again, he wins fairly convincingly. Of course, he was a dud of the year candidate last year, and his season was quite different. I had pointed out last season that the 3-point shooting was unacceptable, and if we can get it into the mid-30%, that'd be great. Well, he did shoot 37% from deep, but he also shot sub 40% from the field. Martin ended up playing quite a bit less this year because our roster is deeper. Because of that, his estimated wins added is not quite as bad. But his rating and potential will go down by 2. He is a 75. This won't really affect the playoff rotation, but it makes him less of a trade asset in the future. Trayce Jackson-Davis ended up getting the second spot. Of course, last year he was in second for the Stud of the Year voting, so this basically offsets his +1 in overall last year. He just wasn't the same player this year. 82 games a season ago, 20 double-doubles. This year, 66 games and just 4. Yes, his role did change with the addition of Miles Turner, but his minutes per game really didn't go down by that much. His defense was worse. His offense was a little bit less efficient. He just didn't really get much better. Adem Bona had the same estimated wins added with a lesser role. Now the two of them had the same overall rating, and now I'm going to hold them to a similar regard. I'm curious to see if Adem Bona continues to outproduce him. So this is what the rotation will look like going into the playoffs. This isn't really a major surprise because once we were fully healthy in the last episode, these are the 9 guys we rolled with. There might be some shifts in terms of minutes, but it's the same 9 players. It's the same starting lineup. This is what our team is going to look like fully healthy going into the playoffs as we simulate through the play-in tournament. The big story has to be Boston with LeBron James. If he does not make it out by winning these next 2 games, then that'll be it for his NBA career. Out west, I'm curious to see if OKC or New Orleans get knocked out. And here's a look at what happens. So the Pelicans end up with the 7th seed. OKC beats Phoenix for the 8th seed. So Phoenix and Houston with De'Aaron Fox are eliminated. As for the Eastern Conference, it was all chalk. The Pacers get 7, Brooklyn gets 8. They ended up beating the Celtics pretty convincingly despite a big fourth quarter from Boston. 33, 10, and 5 on good shooting for LeBron in his final game, but Jason Tatum goes 2 for 13, and well, not going to win many games like that. So LeBron James' career comes to a close in the NBA's play-in tournament, and now we've got our bracket of 16 ready to rock and roll for the playoffs as we take a look at our matchup against Minnesota. We played against these guys 4 times in the regular season, and we swept the season series with multiple blowouts, including early in the year. In the in-season tournament, we won by 30. Anthony Edwards was terrific, and the rest of the team was horrible. Curry with 35 leading the charge. In the second matchup, back in January, we won by 4. I will say, though, there is something that you might notice with the scoring. The Timberwolves scored 7 points in the third quarter, and they still only lost by 4 somehow. Anthony Edwards and Robert Dillingham both played well, but everybody else, again, let them down. We've played against the Timberwolves quite recently twice in the month of March, including a 37-point blowout win, even with Miles Turner shooting a tour date. Minnesota barely shot 35% from the field and 9 of 44 from deep. Bones Highland, 2 of 15, 1 for 10. That's not going to cut it. Anthony Edwards was the only guy who showed up. And then a couple weeks later, we won a close one, 111-106. Ironically, Edwards didn't even play that well, which makes it odd that this is the game where Minnesota actually almost wins, and they really should have won. Jimmy Butler, of course, didn't play well, and he will be seeing his former team in this series. But the only reason why we won that last game was because of a big fourth quarter comeback where we outscored them in the final frame by 14. Just like us, the Timberwolves are fully healthy going into this series. So these two teams are 100% full strength. Should be some great basketball. Now, unlike real life, the Wolves have not really shuffled this roster. They've kept the core together. Anthony Edwards obviously leads the way, won the NBA's scoring title over each of the last 2 seasons. He's become one of the 3 or 4 best players in the NBA. The guy is a total superstar. They still have Karl Anthony Towns, who pairs with Rudy Gobert in the front court. I think the X factor is going to be the guard play outside of Edwards. They're going to need Rob Dillingham to really perform, the second-year pro out of Kentucky, who has taken over as the starting point guard with Mike Conley retiring last year. And Rob had a good year, 18 points per game on 63% true shooting. But he's going to have to perform for just being a young guy, and they're going to need production from these others. Bones Highland really struggled against this throughout the year. They're going to need him to show up. The depth on this roster is certainly lacking, although they do have some familiar faces with Kevon Looney and Gary Payton. But as good as this starting group is, their bench is rough. I'm curious to see if our depth, with guys like Antoine Saliz, Ayo Dosunmu, Trayce Jackson-Davis, and Adem Bona, will be able to win those matchups. So let's get this show on the road. Games 1 and 2 with the first round of the Western Conference playoffs here at the Chase Center. We have been waiting for another opportunity to play in the postseason after getting swept in the first round last year. by OKC. And I think this team is more equipped for a potential playoff run, largely because we have this guy on the roster, Antoine Celis, firing the crowd up. Whoa, he just did a backflip. There is no way that's legal in his contract. That is unsafe and could have hurt him. Thank goodness he's okay, but Antoine, what are you doing, buddy? Shouldn't be risking yourself 5 minutes before you're about to check into an NBA playoff game. Nonetheless, let's get this show on the road. Anthony Edwards with the slam as he's able to make a nice move on Jimmy Butler, the former Timberwolf. Edwards blocked inside by Miles Turner. I think having Turner here is going to be a big deal for our postseason success because of his two-way ability. He can shoot the ball, he can protect the rim, he can block shots. As Jimmy Butler gets the scoring started for the Warriors. Dillingham to the corner, Edwards wide open, no good. Dillingham, offensive rebound, back out to Edwards, and it's good. Got to do a better job of defending the weak side. Edwards was wide open, and then allowing Dillingham, a 6'1 guard, to grab the offensive rebound is unacceptable. As Edwards is in for the slam. A quick start for Ant-Man. He's got 7, bullying Buddy Hield. We're going to primarily have Jimmy work with Edwards, but that time it was Hield on him, and the Wolves took advantage. So Minnesota's looking good early, and Golden State's got to get some shots to go in. There's one. A triple from Jonathan Kuminga, who's been banged up for most of the second half of the year. Good to have him healthy. Towns, floater, no good. Offensive rebound, putback is. Rebounding is the number one reason why we got swept by Oklahoma City last year. So the fact that we're allowing all these offensive boards this early is not good. Off the Edwards miss, but he healed with it on the drive, gets by Towns, but he loses control and spins out. Towns ends up with it, and here comes the Wolves. Edwards, pull-up jumper is no good. Nice closeout by Jonathan Kuminga. Warriors looking to move fast, running in transition. Butler with it on the baseline drive. Reverse layup is good. Jimmy's got 4, and the Warriors make it a one-score game. Here's Minnesota. KJ Jeffries with it over to McDaniels on the drive inside to Towns. He's blocked. Trace Jackson Davis with the snuff. Kuminga back out to Jackson Davis. Throws up the layup. It's good with the foul. And one. Flex on him. KJ Jeffries, the second rounder out of the University of Oregon, called for the foul as Trace would miss the free throw. Remains a 3-point game. Dillingham back out to Cat. Pick and pop as Karl Anthony Towns connects on the triple, and it's 15-9. Curry has yet to score, 0 for 3 to start, looking to get something going. As that one is good with another foul, and one. Robert Dillingham is called for the foul, and it's 15-12. Curry was not himself in the postseason series last year against OKC. The perimeter defense of Minnesota definitely a lot worse, though. So hopefully he's able to produce as KJ Jeffries is in for the layup. 17-12, Edwards with it on the drive. He gets it back out to Jeffries on the wing for Rob Dillingham. Dillingham lobs it up for the rookie. KJ Jeffries with the throwdown, and it's a 7-point lead. Curry looking for the screen, he gets it. Inside for Trace Jackson Davis, back out to Curry, looking for the screen again. Gets space, lets it fly for 3. And it is a 4-point game. Nice little 2-man game from Curry and Trace Jackson Davis. Towns throws up a prayer, no good. Rebound by Jeffries, that one is no good. Rebound by Jeffries again. Minnesota's going to get a third chance. Layup no good. Ball is tipped to Butler. That was horrible rebounding from Trace Jackson Davis. He had 3 chances, didn't get 1. But he makes up for it with a really nice pass, fitting it in for Miles Turner, who makes the dunk. 19-17, Jeffries guarded by his fellow rookie, Antoine Celis, getting his first postseason action. Bones Highland for 3, it's good. Bones really struggled in the regular season matchups between these two teams. It'll be interesting to see how he produces here as he loses control, and it's stolen by Jonathan Kuminga. On the other end, he gets it to Celis on the drive. Nice pass, nice finish by Adembona. And it's a 3-point ball game, 22-19. Kuminga out to Curry, guarded by, looks like Highland. That's a mismatch and a half. Here's Celis, wide open for 3 off the assist by Adembona. And after a slow start, the offense is starting to field themselves, tied at 22. Kuminga lets it fly from deep, and Golden State takes the lead, 25-22. Bona backs down on Terrence Shannon. That is a mismatch, but he misses it. This Warriors team smokes the easiest shots in the paint, and it is infuriating. Minnesota with it on the other end, unable to score on the fast break. Here's Shannon off the screen, on the drive. Layup is good. Terrence Shannon is a really solid bench scorer. I'm not sure why he doesn't play a bigger role for this team. I feel like he'd be a really valuable piece for them, kind of in the Antoine Salis role that we have. 1-point game, just a few seconds to go. Curry, step back at the buzzer. No good, and that'll wrap up a competitive, hard-nosed, physical first quarter. The Warriors lead by 1, 25-24. Curry now out of the game. We'll see how he can perform without our star. As Kuminga has it, posts up on Highland. That's a mismatch. Who's open? It's the rookie, Antoine Salis, who misses the three with nobody near him. 39% from deep on the year in the regular season as Highland connects on the triple on the other end. And Minnesota, the first to score here in the second. Now tied at 27. Look at this matchup. Turner and Bones. He passes it out off of the double. Butler hits the three, and it is a 3-point lead. Edwards with it, guarded by Jimmy Butler. Looking across him over inside. Butler's not letting him get any room right until the end. Edwards is able to slip on by him, and he's in for the layup. As Minnesota now leads 31-30. Kuminga on the drive. Layup is good. Nice play there by Jonathan Kuminga. He's off to a good start with 8. Warriors back ahead as Edwards has it stripped away by Butler. Stolen by Salis. Here comes Golden State. But he healed with it inside for Butler. That one is good over Bones Highland. And I think the biggest thing I can say about our offense so far is that the passing and ball movement has been spectacular. I mean, we're really finding teammates well as Bones hits a really nice three. All you can do there is tip your cap. That was quite the shot. 34-34. Edwards with it. That one is good, despite blanketing defense by Buddy Hield. Now tied at 36. Gobert, as you can see, a little bit banged up. He misses the layup, gets his own rebound. Out to Dillingham. He finds Edwards. And Butler draws the charge. Good play. But back to Gobert. He suffered a minor hip injury in the first quarter. He's going to power through it. Minnesota knows they need his defense here in the postseason. As Kuminga connects on the triple. He's got 11, despite the contest from Jeffries. KJ's three is no good. Rebounded by Jonathan Kuminga. And here comes the Warriors. Turner blows by Jeffries. Layup is good with the foul. And one. I think Gobert being injured really gives Miles Turner the advantage with that matchup. Gobert's already a questionable perimeter defender to begin with, and now his mobility is going to be even worse. Off the miss by Curry. Edwards pull-up triple, takes a very lucky bounce. A 5-point swing for Minnesota, and the lead is within 1. 42-41, here is Jaden McDaniels with it. Blows by Hield, in for the slam, and the lead. Jaden McDaniels has Minnesota up by a point. Curry on the drive, crosses over multiple defenders, but he misses another layup. This team has got to stop missing shots in the restricted area. Edwards on the other end, misses the three. Rebound by Trayce Jackson-Davis. Warriors looking to move fast. Butler, Curry, wide open lane. Thank God he didn't miss it as he's in for the layup. 8 points on just 3 of 10 shooting for Steph Curry. Has not been his night so far. Warriors do take the lead, though. Edwards looks to change that. He's in for the slam. Minnesota up by a point. 16 for Edwards today. As McDaniels has it, he's blocked. Trayce Jackson-Davis with the denial. On the other end, Curry on the move. Mid-range jumper is good. And Golden State is back ahead. Both of these teams trading the lead like a blunt. Snoop Dogg, can I get a hit? As the shot is no good in the corner for the lead from Minnesota. That was McDaniels. On the other end, Butler, Curry, layup is good. And the passing in transition by the Warriors continues to be phenomenal. They're not turning the ball over. They're really doing a good job finding open passing lanes. But that time, Trayce Jackson-Davis is snuffed. Big play by Gobert. Warriors get it back. Off the miss, Curry with it over to Hield in the corner for Trayce. Somebody's got to get open with just a few seconds on the shot clock. Okay, that works. That plan did not go how I expected it, but 2 points are 2 points. 50-47, McDaniels for the tie. That one is good. Buddy Hield unable to close out quick enough on the step back. And Minnesota now has the lead. Curry looks to change that with under a minute left in the first half. Quick pull-up three is good. Bones Highland is a very small guard. He's skinny, and that's not much of a contest for a guy like Curry who's able to connect on the triple. Bones looking to put Minnesota ahead. He does. Bones obviously is not a great defender, but offensively he's been great with 4 made threes in this first half. 2-point game, final seconds of the second quarter. Kuminga's got to get rid of it. In the corner, Dosunmu. Clank, clank, good! How did that shot fall for Ayo Dosunmu? He threw it up, hoping for the best. And it takes a very generous roll to put the Warriors ahead if it counts. We got to look at this replay, though. That was close. And as you can see, right there, I don't think the ball got off of his hands before the clock hit 0. The initial call on the floor is that the shot did not count. I don't see any reason to reverse that call, unfortunately. I think this one will stand. And there you go. The shot will not count for Ayo Dosunmu, and Minnesota holds on to their lead going into halftime, 55-53. It has been a fun one here in the first half of the Chase Center. I've seen a lot of positives and a lot of negatives. As I mentioned, the ball movement has been really impressive. 16 assists to just 9, and they're turning the ball over more than we are. Our passing and ball security has been phenomenal. I think the biggest problem I've seen so far, though, is the rebounding. We've really struggled on the glass, much like the postseason last year. That's got to clean up as Curry has it off the crossover to start the third. Kuminga with space for 3! Jonathan Kuminga puts the Warriors ahead. It would be short-lived, though, as Curry is blocked at the rim. Wow, what a play by Jaden McDaniels, soaring in for the snuff. McDaniels off the backdoor cut is in for the dunk. And the Timberwolves are up by 3. 59-56, Butler in the corner, pump fake on the drive, hands it off for Curry with space. That one is good. Curry struggled through the first quarter and a half, but he is starting to look like himself. A very positive turn of events for this Warriors team as he gets it on the left wing for Ayo Dosunmu, who connects on the triple. And Golden State is back ahead, 62-59. Here's Towns, jumper, no good. Ball is tipped. Gobert with it, back to Towns. Another offensive rebound and another putback. The second chance points are continuing to be a problem. Butler with it. Curry, another 3. No good. Ball is tipped by Turner, and possession will stay with the Warriors. On one hand, good job to make sure Minnesota didn't get the ball. But Miles Turner boxed out Rudy Gobert. He should have been able to grab that rebound and get the 2 points. Instead, we're only going to get an inbound. Lucky for us, Butler is wide open on the wing, and he hits the 3. So that ended up working out better than we could have expected. McDaniels pushed to the baseline by Dosunmu. Layup is no good. Great defense there by Ayo to force the off-balance shot. On the other end, Curry, step back. Long 2 is good. A really nice move there by Curry, showing Rob Dillingham how to sizzle a little bit. 67-63. Edwards throws up the layup. I don't really know how that one went in. He just kind of chucked it. But it does go through the net. 2-point game. Kuminga soars in, misses the layup, but Salis is there for the rebound and the putback. On one hand, we missed another open layup, and that continues to be a problem. But likewise, that was a great play by Salis to get the putback as he gets baited on the fake by McDaniels, who is in for the dunk. 69-67. Turner sends it over to Curry, and he is fouled on the 3. Rob Dillingham, welcome to the playoffs. I've got a lesson to teach you, kid. Don't foul the jump shooter, especially when the jump shooter is Steph Curry, one of the greatest shooters ever, who unsurprisingly makes all 3 at the line. On the other end, layup is no good for Bones Highland. Warriors moving fast. Trace Jackson-Davis guarded by Dillingham. That is a mismatch that Trace Jackson-Davis will exploit every time he gets the chance to. 5-point game. Butler with it, looking to get by Edwards. His pass is off the mark, but Trace Jackson-Davis keeps it. Sends it over to Curry. Left wing 3 is good. I think Trace deserves all the credit there. First of all, he was able to corral in the bad pass, but then he has the inside leverage on the defender, and he's able to set a mini screen to help get Curry open. Dillingham looks to respond, and he does. Answers back with a 3 of his own. 77-72. Bona pushes in on Dillingham, has Curry wide open. 29 for Steph. 14 have come here in the third quarter over the last 7 minutes. Bold strategy to leave Steph wide open, as Bones throws it up, and it's good. Curry wanted to draw the charge, unsuccessful. And it's 80-75. Both teams really shooting the 3-ball well right now as Jeffrey slips in the layup. And it is a 1-score game once again, 80-77. Curry calling for the screen, sends it over to Buddy Hield now. And the Warriors just are not missing from deep. They were inconsistent from 3 in the first half, but they have dialed it in here in the third quarter as Jeffrey slips the pass in for Karl Anthony Towns. He makes the dunk. 4-point game with under a minute left in the third. Curry gets the screen from Bona. Thought about the shot, doesn't take. Inside for Bona. Layup is no good. There's another one. Not an easy play to make, but a makeable shot. On the other end, here's Jeffries with it. Spin move, sends it over to Rob Dillingham. Quick closeout by Dosunmu. Screen from Towns. Rob Dillingham for three. It's good. And it is a 1-point lead for the Warriors. They'll get the final shot here in the third quarter, looking to add to the lead, as it's Curry with it at the top of the key, guarded by Highland. That's a mismatch. Will somebody get open, or is Steph going to have to shoot the shot? Inside, Hield. And there is another one. How many shots are we going to miss in the restricted area? We're up by 1, but if some of these shots within a few feet would go in, we'd be up by like 10. Into the fourth, good rebound by Jackson Davis. Good ball movement by the Warriors, moving quickly. Butler, nice move. Layup is good over Terrence Shannon. And it is a 3-point lead. Anthony Edwards with it now. Edwards is in trouble. He's able to get some space. Step back jumper is good, as it rattles in for Ant-Man. 26 on the night for Anthony Edwards. 2-point game, Butler at the line. Three throw is no good, and Minnesota's going to look to move fast. It's Jeffries with it, over to Highland in the corner, and Bones Highland hits another three. He is 6 of 7 from beyond the arc in this game, and Minnesota's up by 1. Shannon in the corner, Edwards three, bang! Big shot for the Wolves. They're now up by 4, 90-86. Kuminga in the corner, Butler guarded by Highland, again looking to exploit that matchup, as he is in for the layup, and it is a 2-point game. Now we're tied. 7.5 minutes to go. 90 apiece. This is postseason basketball. Hield, corner three for the lead. Off the assist by the rookie Antoine Celis. 93-90. Rob Dillingham. That one's no good, but he gets another offensive rebound. Jeffries for the tie, no good. We cannot let this 6'1" guard continue to grab these rebounds on the offensive glass. This can't be happening. Trace gets it over to Celis. His shot is no good. Trace Jackson Davis with the offensive rebound in the corner. Butler, three is good. See? This is what happens when you crash the glass. Although we didn't even really crash the glass there. The ball just bounced into his hands. As Butler is in for the dunk. Jimmy Butler is 12 points here in the fourth quarter after he had 12 through the first 3 combined. 6-point game. Jimmy's not done. Another dunk for Butler. He now has 14 in the quarter alone. He is taking over this game. Rob Dillingham for three over Dosunmu. It's good. And the Wolves are continuing to hang around even with Jimmy going insane. 5-point game. Curry with it on the drive. Jimmy Butler wide open. Bang! Why are they leaving him with so much space? Butler is on a tear. He's on a heat check right now, and they're leaving him open when they should probably be doubling him. Bones Highland, jumper is good. And Minnesota continues to keep it a game within breathing room. 6-point lead. Trace Jackson Davis with it, looking to draw the double. Out to Curry. He gets it to Dosunmu, and he is guarded by Kevon Looney. That's barbecue chicken. Set up the isolation and let him work. But he misses the layup! Again! Can we not miss shots in the restricted area, please? Edwards somehow gets that one to go in. He shot that one facing backwards, midair. How did that go in? He is not human. 4-point game. Kuminga with it. Hands it off for Curry, and he's intercepted. Turner was going in for the cut, but McDaniel steals it away. Inside for Edwards with the slam. Two-handed jam for Ant-Man, and the lead is within 2. 103-101. Kuminga, Butler, wide open again. 20 points in the fourth for Jimbo. They've got to stop leaving him open from 3. He's not missing. Butler with it on the drive. That one is good over Anthony Edwards. What a fourth quarter from Jimmy Butler. We are witnessing something special. Edwards 3 no good. Turner with the rebound. Zips it over to Butler. Warriors looking to add to their 8-point lead. Curry gets by Dillingham. Layup is good. And it's a 10-point lead. The largest this deficit has been for either team all night. Edwards, Towns, huge shot here, and it's good. Minnesota needed that one desperately. The 3 brings it within 7 as Golden State calls a timeout. Butler with 35. Out to Curry, who's got 31. Misses the 3. Minnesota looking to move fast. Time is of the essence. Edwards, pull up, Jay, is good. And the lead is within 4. New life for the Timberwolves. Following possession, Dillingham with it, guarded by Jackson Davis. He is fouled and will get 2. Trace does not like it. Rob Dillingham at the line to make it a 1-possession game. First is good, and we are within 3. Just a minute ago, the Warriors were up by 10, and we thought this game was over. But Minnesota goes on an 8-0 run, and we are within 2 points. The Warriors are on the verge of an epic collapse if they don't hold on. Turner on the drive. Curry, jumper, no good. Ball is tipped into the hands of Robert Dillingham. In transition, Dillingham guarded by Hield, spins inside with the slam. Dare I say that play was pretty shifty, and we are tied at 111. A 10-0 run now for Minnesota. Golden State has to get it together. Curry, Butler, 13 on the shot clock, minute on the game clock. Butler with it, hands it back off to Curry, back to Butler, now 6 seconds left. They've got to do something quick. Here's Kuminga, sets up the screen. Curry, right wing three. It is good! Stephen Curry puts the Warriors up by 3. And Minnesota calls a timeout. We've got to figure out what our best lineup is here. I think the question that we're going to see throughout this entire postseason run is who will be the 5th guy on the floor who closes games with our core 4 of Curry, Butler, Kuminga, and Turner. Given the matchup with the double bigs and given how well Trayce Jackson-Davis has played today, he feels like the easy choice. He's been in the game over the last few minutes, if you haven't noticed, even though Buddy Hield is the one who got the start. Obviously, our focus on this possession will be Anthony Edwards. He's been at his best around the basket. I'm willing to force a jumper for him, even if it is a 3. Gobert with it, will inbound it. He's going to send it to Rob Dillingham. Quick corner 3 for the tie is no good. That was not the shot. He didn't need to rush it that quick, and Golden State has it. Butler thought about the drive, but with the quick defense by McDaniels, he'll send it back up, and Golden State's going to dribble out this clock for a while. Minnesota not electing to foul. They trust their defense to get a stop. Butler with 5 on the shot clock, has it on the drive, and it's a reach-in on Towns. So that's going to bring the shot clock back up to 14, and that'll give us an opportunity to chew even more clock as we call a timeout to figure out what our best move is here. Now, obviously, we are going to be prepared for the foul, given that I think that's certainly in the realm of possibility. So, of course, we will inbound it to Steph Curry in the event that they would look to foul. We're going to take Trayce out and bring in Antoine Saliz, given that he is the better offensive player. I'm confident we'll be able to get Trayce back out there for a potential game-tying opportunity for Minnesota, given that there's either going to be a timeout or a foul before their next possession, I would presume. So Curry, of course, will get the inbound, and he will take his sweet old time under 20 seconds to go. 3-point game here in the first round, game 1 of the Western Conference playoffs. Only 2 seconds left. They've got to get it off. Butler, 3. No good. Rebound by Minnesota, and they call time with 8.9 seconds. On one hand, we chewed like 30 seconds of clock there, but we didn't score, and Minnesota will get a chance to tie the game here. So I think since there's only 8.9 seconds left and this is their last timeout, they're not going to have enough time to go for it, to foul, and then hope for the best. They need to shoot a 3 here. So I think instead of bringing in Trayce Jackson-Davis, I would rather have Ayo Dosunmu come in the game because he's a better perimeter defender. The thought process here is that Minnesota is going to look for somebody to get open off of the screen. Butler is going to be matched up with Edwards, and I'd rather have Jonathan Kuminga matched up with Karl Anthony Towns, because if Towns is getting through screens, looking to get some space beyond the 3-point line, Kuminga is going to do a better job of following him and potentially closing out a shot. I'm most concerned about Edwards taking the 3 here, but Rob Dillingham's a good shooter. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns is as well. McDaniels to an extent. Gobert, the only non-shooter, will inbound it. Here's Towns, wide open for the tie, no good! Kuminga with the rebound, gets it to Curry, and he is fouled. Wow, Karl Anthony Towns was wide open. Our inbound defense did not do a good job of finding him and closing out, but Towns misses the shot as the 3 throw by Curry is good, and that's probably the game because Minnesota doesn't have any timeouts. Second one for Steph, rattles home. He's got 36. And Minnesota's just going to throw it up here with Rob Dillingham at the buzzer. Nearly goes in, but it won't matter. The Warriors win game 1 of the first round of the Western Conference playoffs, 116-111. We finally win our first playoff game of the series, coming in dramatic fashion. That was a really exciting ending, but we were able to hang on. We were up by 10 with around 2 minutes to go, and we nearly blew it, but we hit some big shots late. The 3 by Curry on the right wing with around 45 seconds, and then the defense clutched it out. Curry with 36. He was great down the stretch. Jimmy Butler at the end won us this game, 23 in the fourth. To put that in perspective, the all-time record for points in a quarter of a playoff game by one player is 25, set by Devin Booker and Damian Lillard, although Anthony Simons did break into the Blazers series last year. And everybody else played to their role. The passing was terrific, 35 assists, 1 turnover. That's why we won this game. The ball movement on offense was spectacular. 38 for Edwards, 20 for Highland, 19 for Dillingham, 14 and 12 for Towns. As good as our passing and ball movement was, and boy was it good, we almost lost this game on the glass. The rebounding was not great. Trace Jackson-Davis had a few plays where he really should have grabbed boards, but I'll give Trace a lot of credit because he was really good otherwise. 6 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. That led the team. Trace's passing in this game was phenomenal. What do you say we do it again? Let's go into game 2 of the first round of the Western Conference playoffs, coming off a very exciting game 1, won by the Warriors, 116-111. And now this is sort of a must-win game for Minnesota. They certainly do not want to find themselves down 2-0 because that's going to be a huge deficit for them to come back from. And we know this all too well last year as the 5 seed. We lost the first 2 games on the road to Oklahoma City. Felt like there was no recovering. That was too big of a hole for us to dig out of. The tip is won by Rudy Gobert. He is getting the start despite his hip ailment. And we are underway. Game 2 of round 1 here in the Western Conference playoffs. Edwards with it on the drive. Jumper is good off the glass. And he is the first to score here in game number 2. Here is Curry with it, hoping for a better start than the last game. Out to Kuminga for 3. He had 11 points in the first half of game 1, but just 3 in the second half and none in the fourth. He felt like a non-factor late in our game 1 win as Turner is in for the and 1 slam. Miles Turner with the 3-point play. Rudy Gobert called for the foul. As here is Butler. Blows by Rob Dillingham. He makes the layup, his first points of the game. I think Butler still kind of has something out for Minnesota, as we saw by his 23-point fourth quarter of game 1. Anthony Edwards for 3 and the lead. That one is good. Edwards started game 1 off really strong, and then he really didn't slow down, again scoring nearly 40 points. Here's McDaniels with it, gets by Buddy Hield, layup rattles in, and he adds to the early Minnesota lead, 11-8. The Wolves seem to have early control in the first game as well, as Kuminga sends down the hammer. He's got 5, and we're certainly hoping that he'll be active offensively throughout the entire game. As Ayo Dosunmu has it, layup is good. I'm surprised that one went in. As much as I like Ayo as a player, every game he has 1 or 2 layups that he just completely smokes. That time it does go in as Turner places that ball through. The Warriors on a 7-0 run. They lead 14-11. As Edwards has it, looking to end the cold streak for Minnesota. Going up, and away! Anthony Edwards flexing on him as the lead is back within 1. That one is tipped away and stolen by McDaniels. Out to Rob Dillingham. His layup is good in transition, despite nice defense by Curry. Minnesota back ahead, 15-14. Neither team holding on to the lead early. Such was the case in the last game as Curry floats in the layup. Golden State now ahead, his first points of the night. Another slow shooting start for Curry, but he does have 4 assists. Here's Anthony Edwards off the screen from Gobert. That one is good. Minnesota's now back ahead, 18-16. Nobody wants this lead. How about this? Ayo Dosunmu for 3. And now the Warriors are back ahead, 19-18. Rudy Gobert with it. We're going to leave him all the space in the world at the top of the key, but we cannot leave Rob Dillingham open 5 feet away from the basket because it's a lot more likely he's going to make that shot. 20-19. Here's Curry with it on the drive. Layup is good. And this continues to be a back-and-forth game. Nobody is going on a run. Nobody's even scoring consecutive baskets, it seems like. What the miss by Edwards. Rebound by Kuminga. Warriors moving fast. Curry open 3 is good. And Steph Curry's now got 7. And we actually have a 2-score lead. I don't believe it. Anthony Edwards with it off the screen. Foul on the 3, and it's good! The one time that we're up by 2 scores, Anthony Edwards gets a 4-point play to tie the game, although the Warriors would regain the lead. But possibly not for long, as that one is no good. But Jeffries gets the rebound and the putback. Nice play there by KJ Jeffries. to put Minnesota back ahead, 26-25. Here's Curry with it on the drive. Layup is good. And again, neither team holding on to the lead at all. We've probably had like 20 lead changes already here in this first quarter. Will Minnesota get another one here? Edwards, 3. It is good. 2-point lead for Anthony Edwards. Now a 4-point lead for him and the Wolves, as the Warriors will get the final shot in the quarter. Curry with it. Sidestep at the buzzer. No good. A very tight and close first quarter. Minnesota's able to bridge a little bit of a lead. They're up by 4 into the second as Butler misses another layup. What are we doing here, guys? On the other end, Terrence Shannon Jr. with it in the corner. Edwards, 3 with Kuminga flying near him, but the shot still falls. And Minnesota's up by 7, biggest lead of the night so far for either side. Butler hands it off for Kuminga, hoping somebody gets open. Butler with no space, and that's going to be a charging foul on Jimmy Butler. Great job there by Terrence Shannon to set the feet, draw the foul, and give Minnesota possession back as Salis steals it away. Kuminga ends up with it on the other end. Salis for 3. It's good! Big shot for Antoine Salis, who had an all-right playoff debut, 7 points and 3 assists. As Butler has it on the drive, and there's another charge! Again, Shannon keeps his feet set, and Butler gets his second charge at the last, minute. 36-30. Anthony Edwards with it, off the screen, on the drive, and there's another foul on Butler. It's a blocking foul before the shot, so the bucket does not count. That's Jimmy's 3rd foul in the last minute, and we're going to have to take him out of the game. We don't want him to get in even more foul trouble, so Curry and Kuminga are going to have to play extra minutes as Curry hits the step-back jumper. The first few minutes of the second quarter is supposed to be Curry's rest period, and now he's not going to get it, as the layup is no good for Bones Highland. Salis with the rebound, looks to take it himself with a little rack attack. The back scratcher for Antoine Salis, as that one is no good inside. Ball is tipped into the hands of Jonathan Kuminga. And here now come the Warriors looking to tie or take the lead. Stripped away. Who ends up with it? It's Kuminga, and he gets the dunk. Once he got the ball back, he was lucky that the lane was completely wide open, and he does a good job of taking advantage. Warriors now back ahead, 38-36, as the lob is in for Rudy Gobert. Jimmy Butler is already back in the game. Jonathan Kuminga has not sat yet, so we need to give him some rest. But I want to keep 2 of our 3 stars in the game at all times, as Miles Turner hits the corner 3. Keep an eye on Butler, though, with his 3 fouls. If he draws another one, he's going to have to sit for the rest of the half, as Anthony Edwards hits the one-legged 3. Minnesota now ahead. Jeffries goes flying on the fake. And Kuminga is blocked by Jeffries. What a play. On the other end, Anthony Edwards with it. And that one is good. Butler making sure he guards without fouling. He does not want his 4th before we get to halftime. Butler recently had a game where he fouled out in just 15 minutes. So it is possible, and he knows it. As Karl Anthony Towns makes the contested shot inside. 47-41. Butler with it. Turner, pull-up 3 is good. A quick start scoring-wise for Miles Turner. He's got 11. 49-46. Here's Rob Dillingham with it, guarded by Desunmu. Out to Towns, off the screen for 3. As Trace Jackson-Davis is unable to get there quick enough. Minnesota's now up by 8, their biggest lead of the game. Butler, pump fake. Mama! There goes that man! Jimmy Butler with the stylish slam. He needed a play like that because it has been a rough first half for him. As good as he was in the 4th quarter of the last game, he has struggled here. And Trace Jackson-Davis is in for the and 1, fouled by Karl Anthony Towns. He would miss the 3 throw, though, so it's still a 4-point game. Bones Highland inside. That one is good, despite pretty much perfect defense by Antoine Salis. 56-60. Here is Buddy Hield with it, looking to back down on Highland. His shot inside is good. Nice play there by Buddy Hield. Flexing on him as it's 56-52. Highland shot no good. Shot clock unplugged. Golden State will get the last chance to score. Butler, Salis. Look at this matchup. Salis plays like a smaller score-first guard, but you got to remember he's 6'6". He's so much bigger than Highland, but he's unable to take advantage. His jumper at the buzzer is no good. 56-52. Minnesota with the edge here through the first half. But much like the first game, neither team is really building much of a lead. It's been very competitive, very back and forth. Here's a look at the rest of our playoff bracket. Nikola Jokic is injured for the Nuggets. That's kind of a death sentence for them. They trail 2-0 against Memphis. And the 8th-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder lead the Spurs 1-0. This series, of course, led 1-0 by us. Minnesota looking to tie it, but it's still anybody's game. 27 for Anthony Edwards. That's nearly half of Minnesota's points. We're doing our best with him. He's just too good. There's really no other way to put it. Into the third quarter now. Curry hands it off for the rookie, Antoine Salice, starting the second half with the ones as he hits the triple, now has 8. 56-55, Butler sends it in for Miles Turner. Turner draws the double, doesn't matter, floats it up and in. He's got 13 points. Miles Turner continuing to have one of his better offensive showings of the year. McDaniels with it on the drive, guarded by Salice. That one is good. Again, really strong defense by Antoine Salice. I feel like he's improved so much defensively throughout the year. As he has space, left wing 3, rattles in. Another nice shot for Antoine Salice, ice in his veins. Warriors take the lead. He's got 2 threes in the first couple of minutes of the third quarter. Towns looking for one right back, and he gets it. I cannot wait to see the number of lead changes after this game. That number is going to be so high. Towns inside, no good. Nice defense in the post by Jonathan Kuminga. Warriors looking to run the floor quick. Butler in the corner. Salice. Another one! The rookie from France is heating up. 3 triples in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter. When Antoine Salice is hot, he is unguardable, as we saw in the game against Boston. But Minnesota's continuing to hang in there. McDaniels with a 3. Another one for McDaniels. This time it's no good. Another rebound by Kuminga, his 8th. Eyeing down a double-double. Curry, pull-up jumper over Rob Dillingham will fall. That one is good to make it a 3-point Warrior lead. 67-64, Dillingham in the corner. Sends it over to Jaden McDaniels on the drive. Dosunmu tries to get the charge. I think they probably should have called something. I don't know if you should call a charge or a block, but that was certainly a foul. No call. McDaniels' shot is good, and McDaniels gets that one to rattle in. An impressive third quarter here for Jaden McDaniels. He's now got 13 on the night. Here's Rob Dillingham open for 3. That one is good. Edwards really stole the show in the first half, but the complementary scoring in this third quarter is a big reason why Minnesota is now up by 6, despite the Warriors leading early in the quarter as Towns somehow gets the putback to go in. It's an 8-point game now. Minnesota playing really well over these last couple of minutes. We got to get something going, and missed layups by Jimmy Butler is not how you do it. Bones wide open. He hits the 3 on the other end. An 11-point lead. The biggest lead either team has had in this entire postseason series so far. So Golden State's got to get something back, and they do. Buddy Hield trades a 3 of his own. 80-74 now. Kuminga with it in the left corner, guarded by Gobert. Gets the screen from Bona. Falling 3 is good! We were down by 11, and talk about a response. 2 heavily contested threes leading an 8-0 run. Now an 11-0 run. Curry ties it at 80. Wow, what a showing by the Warriors to put themselves back into the game. And now Kuminga's in for the and one slam. Chris Finch does not like what he sees. And the Warriors take the lead. Now a 14-0 run. Bones looks to slam the door on this hot streak, and he does, making the layup. But what a retaliation by Golden State. When Minnesota was getting hot and looking to potentially take a commanding lead into the fourth, the Warriors have other plans. 83-82, here's Curry with it, step back. That one is good. He's got 22, and after his rough first quarter plus of the first game, Steph Curry has played fantastic basketball as it's a 3-point lead. Here's Towns at the buzzer. That one is no good. Hard to complain with this third quarter. We were down by 4. Now we're up by 3, headlined by a 14-0 run where we had 4 or 5 different guys scoring. It wasn't one player getting hot. Minnesota opens the fourth with a big 3, though. It's Bones Highland. We're knotted up at 85. Terrence Shannon Jr. looking for the lead, but it's stripped away and stolen by another former Fighting Illini, Ayo Dosunmu on the other end. Miles Turner gets the dunk, and Golden State is up by a pair. 87-85. Bones Highland guarded by Miles Turner. That's an interesting matchup. Screen by Looney. Bones, another 3, and he's off to a quick start here in quarter number 4. Minnesota up by 1. They get the turnover on the other end. Terrence Shannon Jr. with the windmill. That man has gone airborne. He almost missed the dunk, though. That would have been kind of embarrassing, but a nice play by Shannon. As Butler misses the three, Jimmy Butler with just 6 points today. It's not just the fouls with him. He has really struggled shooting the ball. Edwards hits the three. Minnesota up by 6. So a disastrous start to the fourth for Golden State. They've got to get something to go in as Bona misses, gets his own rebound, and gets the putback. Good job there by Adem Bona following his shot. 93-89. Another three is good. It's Edwards. I think Minnesota has like 4 threes already here in this fourth quarter. They are heating up by 8. Ayo Dosunmu responds with the layup, and he draws the foul from Rob Dillingham. It's an and one. Ayo at the line. His free throw is no good. Rebounded by KJ Jeffries. He gets it to Dillingham. Spin move. Rob lobs it up for Jeffries. Minnesota moving quickly in transition, and they're back up by 8. Jeffries sends it over to Bones Highland. Inside, layup is good. In the first quarter, these teams were going back and forth, trading shots, but in the second half, these teams are going on runs. We had our big run. Right now, Minnesota's on one, and we've got to put an end to it as Miles Turner hits the three off the pick and pop. 9-point game. Curry drives inside, sends it over to Miles Turner. Floater is good. He's got 20. Miles Turner has barely missed tonight. He's going to continue to get the ball if he's shooting like this. And here you go, pick and pop. Turner again. The lead is within 4 with around 4 minutes to go, and everybody in this stadium is now on their feet. The Warriors looking for a comeback, and, well, that's not a good way to continue it. Anthony Edwards hits the three. Curry with it on the drive. He's intercepted. Jeffries comes soaring in for the pick. He sends it up the floor for Bones Highland. His pass back out is tipped and stolen by Curry. He's got Kuminga open in transition with the dunk. And we are back within 5. 17-10 tonight for Jonathan Kuminga. Minnesota hit a couple shots. They're up by 9 with 3 minutes to go, and now we need a big comeback. Miles Turner, jumper no good. Rebound by the Wolves, and they're going to look to add to this lead. Rob Dillingham with it on the drive. Spin move, gets it to Towns. Towns is doubled, doesn't matter. The Timberwolves are up by 11, and now there's got to be a real sense of urgency on our side. Here's Salis with it. Gets the screen on the drive, back out to Turner. Lawn 2 is good. Minnesota was down by 10 in this spot in the last game, and they nearly came back and won it. If they can do it, why not us? Curry looking for the screen for Miles Turner. He's going to try to lob it up, and it's unsuccessful. Gobert gets it back. Here comes Minnesota looking to add to their lead. Dillingham, open jumper. It is good. Salis went for the steal. He knew he had to be aggressive. Doesn't work out. 12-point game now. Minute and a half left. Butler, pump fake with it on the drive. That one is no good, and Butler appears to be in some pain. He is not getting up, and it's a 5-on-4. Dillingham over to McDaniels. Here's Towns wide open. His three is good. That ices the game. They're up by 15, but that's not really the concern right now. We are worried about Jimmy Butler grabbing at what looks like his mid-leg section. I don't really think that's his knee, though. I think that's kind of the area between his hip and his knee. I don't think anything's like completely broken because he's able to walk it off. But that is certainly not good news, and that's how this game comes to a close. Minnesota's going to tie this series. They win at 121-108, but obviously our biggest concern is the status of Jimmy Butler if he's going to miss any time because, well, obviously we're going to need him even with how poorly he played in this game. So an exciting first 2 games, though, nonetheless. The series evened at 1 going into Minnesota. Miles Turner was awesome. 25 points, 10 of 13 from the field, 4 for 4 from deep. Curry with 22. He was good for most of the game, but he had 0 in the fourth. Antoine Salis had a big second half, finishing with 21. Kuminga was solid, and then we get to Jimmy Butler. He was not good. 3 of 14 from the field, 0 for 4 from deep, had the fouls early. Butler won us the game in Game 1 with how well he played in the fourth quarter, and he lost us the game in Game 2 with how bad he was throughout the entire duration. Edwards with 40. Everybody else played to their role. Minnesota outscored us by 16 in the fourth. Remember, we were winning going into quarter number 4, and we still lose by 13. So now it's time for the news. What is the status of Jimmy Butler? Let's find out. What's the injury? Oh no.